Good evening. Um, I would say everyone, but there is no one here in the stream right now. Maybe some people will show up, but that matters not because we still got a show to make, and it's still got to go on YouTube, and I don't want to not make a show. So we are going to make a little bit of a show this evening for you. Maybe a short one if I remain alone for the night, but we'll see. So I just actually I chatted twice in the chat box before we got started. So the Nightbot made a comment. But welcome. This is This is Game Talks, and I am Keith of Tank Media Games. Let me move that for us real quick. But Game Talks is essentially, this is not the normal setup. Normally, I have a co-host, Will Inabinet, who usually is with us. Also, my glasses really, the computer screen really goof up with the glasses, huh? The reflection on there. But normally I have a co-host, Will Inabinet, who is with me, one of my close friends who we talk games together. But alas, he is unable to attend this evening, so it's going to be just me doing the Game Talks tonight. But Game Talks is our show where we discuss a little bit of gaming news, and we talk about the games we've been playing. We talk about what's coming up, and we talk about just gaming-oriented things, and hopefully with the chat, if the chat is going to be joining in. But we're just hanging out a little bit here to begin. As you can see, I've got a little article here about Tyler Blevins Ninja that I do want to discuss a little bit of what's going on with him. Just something that made me laugh and something that is just crazy to think about in today's day and age when it comes to video games. Real quick, I guess, announcement before we get fully started. I actually was able to achieve the status of a Twitch affiliate today. So instead of being a regular old Twitch streamer, we have 50 followers. We average. Kevin, welcome, bud. Good evening, Kevin. It's good that you are here. I am pleased that you are here. I can usually almost always count on a friend of the show, Kevin. Kevin the man. Kevin is so awesome. He has a very humble Twitch name. It's understandable. But anyway, Kevin, you're right here for the brief announcement that you maybe can tell via watching on the stream. But we made affiliate today. So we now have the ability to be subscribed to for a monthly Twitch, fee or whatever. I think it's $5 a month, maybe less, to be the lowest tier of subscription. So if anybody's feeling froggy, eventually they want to subscribe to us, that has become available to them. As well, there's some different perks, I guess, that come with being a Twitch affiliate. But what those are remain to be seen. But we are going to start talking about a few things, Kevin. You can tell me if these things interest you or not, since you are the sole hanger-outer here this evening. But I have a few things come up that I wanted to discuss today. One of them is that it looks like this is a Game Informer article by Brian Shea. The article isn't so much important. It's like barely. There's nothing going on here in this article. It's just literally saying, hey, popular streamer Tyler Blevins, aka Ninja, has signed a partnership with shoe and athletic apparel company Adidas. Ninja is the first pro gamer to sign with the brand as his list of partnerships continues to grow. This has been a big month for Ninja, as earlier this month he announced an exclusive streaming deal with Mixer. His book, Get Good, My Ultimate Guide to Gaming, also released in August. The partnership with Adidas looks to be a part of a larger commitment the brand recently made to catering more to video game culture. So that's the entirety of the article. Kevin says, my name was first used on my PS3 and always liked it, and it's my name on almost everything. Well, Kevin, you're truly awesome, so it speaks the truth. So Ninja has been sponsored by Adidas. First of all, the idea of a sports brand sponsoring a professional gamer at like not even 10 years ago would have been laughable. Would have been something that you would just scoff at. Like, why on earth would Adidas want to partner with a streamer? They sit on a chair all day. They barely move their arms and fingers to do this thing. Not that it's not impressive, but nowadays, like, it's a thing. Okay, oh, the streamer's got a big endorsement deal from a sports brand. You know, and Ninja's got to wear his Adidas hoodie to stream. I don't necessarily know the details of his deal with Adidas, but you know, Ninja has to wear an Adidas hoodie whenever he streams, or maybe he has to get sorry, I was looking at the thing. It said Tank Media Games has subscribed to the channel, so I guess I subscribed to myself as a tier 3 subscriber. Um, or maybe he has to advertise a certain shoe. There's a shoe commercial that comes on in front of his stream on Mixer or whatever. It's a crazy thing to me that a sports brand of all brands would come to deal with a streamer. I know what I feel like when I play video games. I don't move a lot. It's not exactly. I know it's a sport. They're esports, but it's not quite the same type of performance that you're looking for from your gaming stuff as you would be for like a football player or a basketball player or a soccer player. The equipment is a little different. Like, I don't know if Adidas is making gaming chairs. Maybe they are now that they're sponsoring Ninja, or maybe they're making some fingerless gloves for Ninja to do his Fortniting on or whatever. But I thought it was just wild that we have all of these deals, just huge corporations saying, "Oh, streaming is where it's at. Streaming is where kids are watching. Streaming is where impressionable children go. Streaming is where kids want their parents to put their money. So we're going to sponsor a streamer." So it made me get to thinking a little bit. What all is Ninja sponsored by? What companies is Ninja? How many deals does Ninja have? How many deals does this blue and pink haired kid have big $1 million deals with? And I don't know if this website tells me the dollar amounts, but also the colored hair thing. Why do we color our hair funny colors? Is brown or blonde or whatever not good enough? It's just a weird. I think there's too much hair coloring. That's my hot take. I think there's too much hair coloring in all industries. That's my hot take here. Kevin, let me know what you think about hair coloring. So this is sponsorpitch.com. I guess this tells you like different deals that people have made. But so this is maybe a list of deals. It looks like that what's his name? Ninja has. Also, that's a horrible picture of him, sadly. Sorry about that. He's an American Twitch streamer personality. As of May 2018, he is. Kevin agrees about the hair coloring. Calm down with the hair colors. He's the most popular streamer on Twitch. Well, not anymore. Wow, that's crazy. So, top of the list, Adidas. He strikes a deal with Adidas. He got paid a cool one. He also has his own. Let's see. He ditched Twitch. He moved to Cayman Shock. He also now has his own toy line and reportedly gets paid a cool $1 million to stream games such as Apex Legends, which is to say there's no shortage of brands wanting to work with him. Wow. Okay, so Adidas is a company that sponsors Ninja. We've got Microsoft, who signs the deal on August 1st. Hershey's on October of 2018 signs a deal with Ninja PSD underwear. Uber sponsors Ninja? How? I guess so. Red Bull. So Red Bull, Uber, PSD underwear, which I've never heard about. Hershey's, Microsoft, and Adidas. These are huge companies that are all say, this kid who plays video games, we want to put our money on him, because that's where the eyes are. That's marketing. You want to put your stuff where the eyes are. You want to put your ads where the eyes are, and the eyes are on Ninja, despite the fact that, maybe he's good, right? He's super good at what he does. But from based on what I've seen, he's not particularly interesting. I'm not saying I'm any more interesting, but he's not particularly the most interesting person that I've ever seen. Um, but say la vie. Ninja is sponsored by Adidas. It's crazy. So it got me thinking. This idea of sponsorship, streamers getting sponsored, also coming in the wake of the fact that we reached the affiliate level of streaming today on Twitch. We are now affiliates. We can be subscribed to. You can donate bits to us if you feel like doing that via Twitch. We are like one step behind Ninja at this point, Kevin. So of course, it got me thinking. Well, now that we're here, now that we've arrived, what companies do I want to sponsor our streams? What companies do I want to sponsor my video game playing? And I came up with a top. That's four. I came up with a top 3 list of companies that I want to sponsor me as a streamer. First, ought to come to no surprise to people who know me. The first is Jersey Mike's subs. I love Jersey Mike's. I've been going to Jersey Mike's almost religiously, once a week. If you average it out, definitely once a week since, let's see, probably 2013. When I started going there on a weekly basis, they were giving me a deal for being a student at my college, so I went every single Tuesday, got that number 9, got it Mike's way, hold the onions, take that bad boy home, and eat it chow down with some kettle cooked barbecue chips. But I love sub sandwiches, and my favorite sub sandwich is the Jersey Mike's number 9. That's the Club Supreme. We're talking turkey. We're talking roast beef, not ham. We're talking bacon. Mike's way. We're talking lettuce, tomato, mayo, bacon, oil, vinegar, herbs and spices, salt. Beautiful thing. Beautiful sandwich. So, first of all, my first sponsorship, I'd love to be wearing a Jersey Mike's hat when I stream. Every like 15 minutes, I love to pick up a big sandwich, take a bite of it, and go, oh man, what a delicious Jersey Mike's sandwich. I would never have defeated that boss without this Jersey Mike's sandwich. So Jersey, Mr. Mike, if you are listening, I'm looking for a sponsorship deal. As of right now, you're making me jealous of my jelly beans. What are you talking about, Kevin? Jealous of your own jelly beans? You can't be jealous of some of your own. If you're jealous, go eat. Oh, go eat them, man. Eat them jelly beans. Delicious. Jelly beans are pretty great. So yeah, Jersey Mike's first sponsor. My favorite jelly bean flavor, probably like a red. I'm a big red candy flavor person. So yeah, that'd be great. If you're listening out there, Jersey Mike's, we're pulling about 2 viewers to this stream. Technically, one of them is me because I'm on the dashboard of Twitch right now. But other than that, yeah, we're pulling about 2 viewers per stream. Well, we're averaging obviously 3 or more if we're an affiliate. So your ad, your Jersey Mike's sandwich could be in front of 2 to 3 people every single day. So that's a sponsorship deal for you out there if you're listening, Jersey Mike's. My second fantasy sponsorship is who I'm looking for would be Post Cereals. You want to know why? Because they make Fruity Pebbles, and Fruity Pebbles are delicious. I love cereal. Again, if you know me in everyday life, you know that this boy loves a sandwich and he loves cereal. So if you're out there listening, Post Cereals, please, if you don't mind, consider sponsoring me and Will, of course, the whole Tank Media Games channel with Fruity Pebbles. Again, I would love to, because I stream in the morning and then on Tuesday nights we stream, so it'd be perfect. Every morning when I begin the stream, I'd begin it with a nice big bowl of Fruity Pebbles, and I'd tell the people how much I love them. Oh, the fruity taste, the texture, it's not going to cut your mouth, but it is crunchy and delicious. It's not the new recipe doesn't let them get so soggy. And I'll tell them all about it, and I'll say you can go and enter code TANKMedia on post.com to get 10% off of your next box of Fruity Pebbles. I will do that every single morning, and then on Tuesday nights, Will and I will both be chowing down on a Jersey Mike's sub. Finally, I drive a Chevrolet truck, so I would love to be sponsored by Chevrolet. I will tell my stream viewers, guys, I've got to get off. I've got to go to town to get some groceries. I'm going to be hopping in my Chevrolet pickup truck, which you could, if you go to your nearest truck dealer and you tell them code Tank Media, you can get 10% off your next Chevrolet vehicle. I'd love to give away like a Chevy Cruze every stream. Chevy, if you're watching. I would love to drive a Corvette to advertise for you. That'd be wonderful. So with these different with these different companies. So obviously Jersey Mike's, Post, and Chevrolet. These are companies that I trust. These are companies that I use almost on a weekly basis. One of them on a daily basis. So if you're out there listening, if you're a scout, if you're looking for anybody to sponsor, I'm your guy. Those three: Chevy, Post cereals, and of course Jersey Mike's. So that kind of wraps this up. I just want you to know that these are the sponsorships I'm looking for. If you're a viewer of this on YouTube or Kevin, if you know anybody in the industry, you let them know that I am looking for a little bit of sponsorship action, and I'll appreciate you doing that. But that's all a joke, obviously. But the story remains that Ninja Tyler Blevins is sponsored by a huge sports company for playing video games, and that is crazy talk. That is something even probably 5 or 6 years ago I feel like would be crazy. Shadow Links, my man, welcome to the stream, dude. We're just talking about sponsorships. Real quick, we're talking, or maybe I don't know what you've heard so far, but we're talking about Ninja getting sponsored by Adidas, and I just gave out my 3 fantasy sponsorships. If I were to ever be sponsored by a company as a streamer. So Kevin, Shadow Links, why don't you guys let me know as you think about it? What if you were to be a sponsored streamer? What company do you want to be sponsored by? Shadow Links, I'll go ahead and give you the rundown quickly. I said Jersey Mike subs, Post cereals because I love Fruity Pebbles, and then I drive a Chevrolet truck, so I'll be sponsored by Chevy as well. I'd love to give away like vehicles on a stream, or I'd love to eat cereal during my morning streams. It'd be perfect, as well as grab a sandwich here on these Tuesday night streams. But yeah, you guys let me know if you have any fantasy sponsorships out there that you'd love to be sponsored by as a streamer. Whew. But that will end our as you let me know that as you think to type them up if you're trying to. That kind of ends our first segment. As a quick segue, I would like to again remind everyone, or just another quick announcement. Shadow Links was a part of my stream earlier today, the stream that finally pushed us over the edge to affiliate. I may be making way too big of a deal out of that. I'm not sure. But it's very exciting, and I'm very excited for this to be the first ever affiliated stream ever. But also, Shadow Links, how was your stream, bud? How was the rest of your God of War after I left you? I assume you finished the game. Shadow Link says Sony, Lego, and Ralph's. Sony, of course, would make wonderful sense as a gaming sponsorship. You get all that PlayStation merch, all that PlayStation stuff for free. Lego, absolutely wonderful sponsorship. I would love to be able to receive and give away Legos as a sponsored Lego streamer. And then Ralph's, I assume, is grocery store. I think that's like an out west thing, maybe just a California thing. 5 hours exactly to the dot. Shadowlinks was playing God of War today, trying to do a speed run. He worked it down to being able to beat it in 5 hours. Exceptional, sir. Absolutely exceptional. Well done. Well done indeed. Well done, well done, well done. All right, folks. I think we're going to move on to our next thing. Also, Shadowlinks, Kevin has already been told, but Will is not joining us tonight. It's just going to be me. That's why my head's so big. Huge grocery. Ralph's is a huge grocery store. See, I'm an East Coaster. I don't know anything about that. I've just heard of it on podcasts that I listen to about that people, done by people who live in like LA. which I assume you probably live close to based on some of the things you said and knowing certain people. But California, like I say, is the land of dreams. Is the city. Is the land of manifest destiny and all. Next news story. So I'm going to pause real quick, and we're going to move on to our next story. Oh, sorry. What I was trying to say, Shadow Links, is that Will not be joining us tonight. He is kind of under the weather, and so he will not be able to join us for tonight's game talk. But I will be holding down the fort, and then be doing some probably some Astral Chain after this, if you guys feel like hanging out for that. Moving on. Our next quick little story tonight is that Spider-Man, the PS4 Spider-Man game that came out last year, I think it was this month last year, it has been announced that it is going to be getting a Game of the Year edition. The guy Oponson stream earlier worked on God of War. That's why he knew all of that insight. Yes. Yeah, a guy who worked on the God of War game from last year. Was hanging out in stream with Shadow Links, which is pretty cool to get some of that behind the scenes insight. But Spider-Man from last year has been announced that it is getting a Game of the Year version for its spectacular game. So now not only can you own the original release of the Spider-Man game, you can also own a Game of the Year version of that game. Which I guess is cool. Really, what it's going to do is probably produce another surge of sales for the game. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to double in sales. That doesn't make any sense. But I feel like a Game of the Year release is usually a way to kind of pick up any stragglers that you weren't able to get to purchase your game the first time. People have heard about it. Now it's in the news a little bit. So people are like, oh, you know what, maybe I will pick up that Spider-Man game. Maybe I will finally play it. And then, it sells a couple million more units or maybe a couple 100,000 more units. I'm not really sure. But that got me thinking. Spider-Man last year, so every year, we've only been doing game talks for a little over 1 year now, but every year Will and I plan to get together at the end of every calendar year and discuss what is our Game of the Year. What is the game that came out that year that moved us, that was just too good to ignore, that just changed the way we thought about things, or just really affected us in some way. What was the best game of the year? Last year's Game of the Year for me was Spider-Man. This was a year in which God of War came out. This was a year in which Red Dead Redemption 2 came out. Oh, I need to fix these. This was the year that Red Dead Redemption 2 came out. But Spider-Man for me took the cake. Also, we were looking at this. I'm looking at this website, and behind my face, there's a number. It says that it shipped 13,200,000 units. 13,200,000 units of this game were sold or shipped. I guess that doesn't mean they were actually put into a human being's hands at like GameStop or whatever, but it does mean that I guess GameStop and other retailers bought 13.2 million of them, which tells almost just as much about what the game did. But this game was huge. I don't know how it did compared to Red Dead or how it did compared to God of War sales-wise, but this game was absolutely huge for a character in video games that was pretty much on the way out. Spider-Man hadn't had a good game in a while. In my opinion, the last truly great Spider-Man game before this Spider-Man was Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation 2. That's the last one that I thought, man, this is just the last one that just blew my socks off. Everything else was Spider-Man, but it could have used something else. Spider-Man, but I wish this were better. Spider-Man, I wish this was better. I have no idea what this Game of the Year version is going to include besides the DLC. Let's see. I imagine probably just the DLC. Thanks for hosting, Shadow Links. I appreciate you very, very, very much. Thank you for hosting. You are a true blessing and a true, genuine friend. I don't know what it's going to. I mistyped that. Um, Spider-Man Game of the Year Edition available now for PS4. Let's see what that's all about. Um, it's it's only $40. It's available through the PlayStation Store. The City Never Sleeps expansion is still $25. So the Game of the Year edition is effectively a half off sale of Spider-Man. Um, Original Digital Deluxe Edition, which included the game and the DLC. Thanks, man. It is true. It's been a wonderful day. It has been an absolutely great day, Shadowlinks, and no in no short or no small part thanks to you and everybody else that hung out earlier today during God of War. Um, but it's essentially a half off sale of the original digital deluxe, which included the game of the year, the game and the DLC, PlayStation 4 exclusive, launched of course. So it looks like the DLC. What's up, the King of Queen? I've heard of you before via Shadowlinks. Welcome to the stream, my man. Thanks for hanging out. We're doing a little game talks. I don't think you've been here before. So essentially, every Tuesday night, me and my co-host Will get together and talk about games. Sadly, he is under the weather tonight, so it's just me talking about some game news, as well as in the end, we'll talk about. We are going to talk about some games that I've been playing, or at least one. But we're talking about Spider-Man right now and how it's got a Game of the Year edition going on. So it looks like it does have the DLC that's included. But this game was my Game of the Year last year. It is the game that I loved the most last year. It is the game that made me I cried during this game actually. Okay, cool, nice. Congratulations on modding for Shadowlinks. Keep up the good work. He is God, or he is. Hopefully, he is good. Maybe he's God. I don't know. But this is the only game last year that made me shed a tear from the story. I could have shed a tear from the gameplay. Thinking about it right now makes me want to boot up my PlayStation and download it just to play it. I very well may do that. Just thinking about this game gives me great memories of a wonderful time that I had last year with it, and it's and thinking about it today, thinking about it that it's getting a Game of the Year edition, it's getting these things, made me wonder like what was it that made Spider-Man so good last year. Oh, I don't think I'm God. I don't want to be God. I'll just be regular old me. I'll take good, but not God. That's quite a heavy title, Shadowlinks. I don't know if I need that. But it made me think about what made Spider-Man so good. What made Spider-Man? I'll be back. I'm on PC, so I'm gonna go to my channel and host you. Thanks, the King of Queen. I appreciate you, brother. What made Spider-Man so good? And for me, I think it's three things. I think it's a culmination of three things that created a great game. Shadowlink says they brought back the swinging and had a good story to match the gameplay. I think those are the two biggest portions. So I think the base of it is that you have Spider-Man. The reason this game sold gangbusters, as well as it just everyone knew about it, is that you have a beloved character, arguably one of the most beloved Marvel characters ever invented, Spider-Man. You have this game, or you have this character that everyone knows, and everyone wants to be Spider-Man. There's very few people who enjoy superhero things that would turn down the opportunity to say, hey, if you could invent the best Spider-Man game, would you play it? Most everyone would say yes. Whereas there are some characters, certainly for me, there are characters where I wouldn't care to play a video game about them, even if it was the best version of that character ever. But Spider-Man is something that everyone knew, everyone knows, and everyone would be down to swing from a web and to shoot webbies. Yes, Kevin, I did. I played Spider-Man 2 back in the day. I certainly did. And I even beat Dr. Octopus at least one time, even though I can remember him being very, very difficult. But yes, I did play Spider-Man 2. By far my favorite Spider-Man game, besides this one, my best Spider-Man experience. So I think as a foundation, you have Spider-Man, which has, gives you that foundation, that initial shoot forward. I'm going to buy a Spider-Man game just to see if it's good. Okay, Shadowlinks, I'll tackle your question in just a second. I'll tackle that question because I think it's a very solid question. If anybody watched my game talk 2 weeks ago, or 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago maybe, where we discussed the Avengers. Second, I think, just like Shadowlink said, it's the gameplay. It's the web swinging. A Spider-Man game must give me the ability to swing wherever I want. A great Spider-Man game is not going to limit where I can swing. I need to be able to swing on lampposts. I need to be able to swing on skyscrapers. I need to be able to swing and do tricks like Spider-Man does. Thanks for hosting, King of Queen. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. But you have to be able to swing. I remember now that I set that host GIF or whatever. You have to be able to swing. The swinging felt so good. You could swing, you could pull yourself. You felt like you moved the way Spider-Man would move. On top of that, you had all of his gadgets. Peter Parker is inventing super cool gadgets that you can use. You can use them to fight. You can use them to traverse. You can use them to hack things. All these different stuff. The combat felt really good. It was super fluid. You would punch, you would dodge. You felt like you were untouchable the way Spider-Man normally looks because of his spider sense during, his combat whenever you see him in movies or wherever you think about what Spider-Man is and his superpower that he can sense things coming. The game does a good job of making it look, giving you that blue thing above his head or whatever that says, now it's time to dodge. And whenever he dodges, it looks so fluid. It looks so graceful the way Spider-Man ought to. Everything is smooth and it goes into each other thing. It's very reminiscent of, I feel like, a game that Shadowlinks is streaming right now, the Batman Arkham City or the Batman Arkham games. That fluid combat that where you counter and all these different things, and it made you feel very powerful, made you feel very strong. This game, the gameplay carried this game all the way through. It was a Spider-Man game, so people are in, most likely. And then B, the gameplay was absolutely flawless, and it was an extremely fun game to play. I definitely need to change that. Here, I can actually go in and do that. Chadlinks has got another questions here. I do need to change the minimum. I don't know what a good minimum was. It said to set it over 1, but I feel like I might have corrected because I don't know much about bits. King of Queen, if you'll let me get to the end of this Spider-Man segment, I will change that for you. And then finally, let me finish with my 3 reasons why I think it's good. Then I'll tackle some Shadowlinks questions. And the third thing is the story. So a good Spider-Man game with what I believe is almost flawless gameplay. You can't be completely flawless. Nothing's perfect. But you have those 2 things. But if you don't have a reason to want to play it besides just to press the buttons, you're not going to finish it. And so Spider-Man produced... Excuse me, hopefully you're not hearing any of that feedback from the microphone. Spider-Man... Insomniac produced... honestly, my favorite Spider-Man story possibly to date. They can do in a video game. They can stretch out a story in a video game longer than a movie or a series of movies sometimes. But the story was affecting. It was this contrast for me with Peter Parker. It's Peter Parker always loses. And thank you for following the King of Queen. I appreciate you, bro, very much. Spider-Man or Peter Parker always loses. And Spider-Man almost always wins. And Peter Parker is always having to sacrifice some of himself to allow Spider-Man to win the day. Not for recognition, but to save people. So Peter Parker has to give up, a lot of things to be Spider-Man. He has to keep his identity a secret to make sure his family and stuff is safe. He's not Tony Stark, who can protect his family with technology or whatever. He's not Thor, whose family lives in Asgard. He's not the Hulk, who has really no family or whatever, or whose only friends and family can protect themselves. Spider-Man is a teenager, but now he's in his 20s in this game, of course. But Spider-Man is a person who has normal friends and family that can, yeah, the one got a funny, who can't protect themselves. So he has to keep his identity a secret so his enemies don't hurt his family and friends. And so he has to leave. He loses in that regard. But Spider-Man is able to keep doing his thing because Peter Parker makes a sacrifice. Peter Parker has a mentor in Doctor Octavius, who eventually he has to give up that mentorship. He has to give up even that father figure that he has in order to save the city. He has to give up this love that he has for a mentor because he went crazy and villainous. In order to save a city, he has to betray this love that Peter Parker has for this man to stop Dr. Octopus. And so Spider-Man wins. Spider-Man doesn't have that. It's Peter Parker who loses in that situation. And then finally, nobody knows it, but yeah, I said Peter Parker a lot. Shadowlink, sorry about that. You guys let me know if I'm getting on your nerves at all. And then finally, with the end, Peter Parker / Spider-Man has to make a choice. Like, do you save the person you love, or do you save a whole city of people that you don't really know? And the choice for Spider-Man is easy. He always saves the city, but the choice for Peter Parker is difficult because this is the person that he loves the most, So this story, for me, it was truly affecting. Like that, the last moment in the story where you have to make that big choice, that I shed a tear during that story. And that was the first time a video game had ever made me do that. So I think those three things, Spider-Man himself, one of my favorite superheroes, my favorite superhero hands down, almost perfect gameplay, and then a almost flawless story in my opinion, came together to make the best game of last year, and it deserves a Game of the Year edition in my opinion, and I think it deserves a few extra bucks. Let Insomniac make another one. So question time. Let's see. Starting out, Shadowlinks asks, what makes the difference between a good Spider-Man game but the Avengers feel, we know all the characters just like Peter? I think the problem between Spider-Man and Avengers is the focus. You can make a good Spider-Man game because you're focused on what Spider-Man can do. Spider-Man can swing. Spider-Man can shoot his webs. Spider-Man can fight the way he fights. He can be graceful. You can make that game and you really have that tight focus. But with Avengers, you have these 5 different characters who all do completely different things. You have the Hulk, who just runs and smashes and punches. You have Captain America, who's a much more, trained, I guess, fighter, military fighting style with a shield and all these different things, who fights totally different from the Hulk and has different abilities. Like the Hulk should be able to jump miles at a time. They're doing tongue twisters in the chat. The Hulk should be able to jump like miles at a time, where Captain America could maybe jump over a couple cars, whereas Black Widow could maybe hop over the hood of a car. Or Thor can fly. He can fly as fast as probably Iron Man can or whatever. So they can both fly, but even Iron Man and Thor can't both do the same exact things. But you have this game where you get to play as them all. So you can't spend 3 or 4 years focusing, or 5 or 6 or however long it took to make Spider-Man. You can't spend all those years focusing on one character and how to make them good. You have to split that up, and you also have to make a game where you feel like you can play as all those characters. There's something about the Hulk where you shouldn't put me on rails as the Hulk. That's why I tout Hulk Ultimate Destruction as one of the best Hulk, or the best Hulk game, is that it was open world. Like you can't tell the Hulk not to jump off the Golden Gate Bridge. You can't tell the Hulk like you can only go through these certain buildings, and you certainly can't tell the Hulk that it takes more than one punch to kill a human being. But you have to limit these things to make the game, and I think that's the reason that the Avengers just looks icky to me, because none of those superheroes feel fully like what they should be. Whereas Spider-Man feels like a full realization of what Spider-Man should be, at least within the confines of a video game. So Shadowlinks, I don't know if that answers your question reasonably, or if you think I'm silly for that. But let me know. And then you ask another question up here It says, but I have to admit the game began to feel repetitive. How can they fix that for the next game? God of War seems to feel fresh as you continue through and doesn't feel stale. What can Peter learn from Kratos? I think that's tough. I don't know exactly what they can take from God of War and put into Spider-Man, just because like God of War is quote unquote an open world game, but the map is so much smaller, and I don't know if I'd call it. I feel like open world might be too much. I don't think it's exactly open world, but it is. Yeah, I agree with you, Shadowlinks. On the Avengers thing, hopefully we'll be able to see some gameplay that takes place outside of the opening 20 minutes. We still don't know if it's open world or not. I don't think it is. I think it's a mission based thing. Um, but it could be, and I'm looking forward to seeing some more about it. So hopefully they'll shut me up. Hopefully they'll make me feel like stupid for saying what I said or what I've said so far. Hopefully they'll make me wrong. That's what I want. I want a good game. But with God of War, it's a smaller thing, and it's not on rails, but it is on rails. If that makes sense, like there are those portions of the story where you can choose what you do, but also there's a linear thing that you're going through. Now there's a linear story to Spider-Man, but there's a little bit less order to it, and it's a full open world. Like it's all of New York City. It's huge to play as. So I think there's going to be repetition in that. They've got to give you things to find, and they've got to give you things to go collect and things like that. Maybe more fluid, going into missions. That was pretty fluid with Spider-Man, but maybe even less. Maybe they throw away like the marker system where you don't swing to the orange dot to start your mission. Like they say, hey, go to this building. You go there, and then there's some fluid cutscene that as you enter this part of the city, Spider-Man swoops in, but that also could limit your movement in some way. So I'm not exactly sure what Spider-Man can learn from Kratos. What I do, Shadowlink says that's a well thought out answer. I'll take it. What I do worry about with Spider-Man is how they'll make a sequel. What will they do? Because Spider-Man, he has all his gadgets, he has all his powers at the end of episode 1 or the first one. He has all the upgrades that you've given him and things. So my only thought is the sequel has to be you play as Miles Morales. Like you play as Miles Morales, and maybe sometimes Spider-Man comes and helps you. Because it just didn't seem like this is super sequel-y to me. I don't know what they can do to improve upon this game, and you still play as Peter Parker. Maybe that sounds silly too, but something about that, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I don't know what they can do with the sequel. I'm worried about it, to be honest. I'm worried that they'll not be able to pull it off again. I'm worried that Spider-Man 2 is going to be not a flop, but I'm worried it's not going to be as good as the first one, and that's going to hurt. The King and Queen says, if they were to make another Spider-Man, how would you like to see the other Avengers used in the game? More like an Alfred or Oracle from Batman, or like a quest giver friend from GTA or Red Dead Redemption? The King and Queen, I gotta be honest with you, I don't want the Avengers in there. I don't want the Avengers in there, because how do you explain? So imagine, Iron Man is a quest giver. How do you explain that Spider-Man can go talk to Iron Man, but Iron Man doesn't just like shoot the bad guy out of the sky for Spider-Man or whatever? How do you explain that Thor flies by, but he doesn't help Spider-Man with that little thing he's doing? I don't. In my opinion, I don't know if I want the Avengers in there. I think I want Spider-Man to continue to maintain. I don't want anybody stealing his thunder, I guess. Maybe I'm defensive of Spider-Man. But to me, if the Avengers are around, it feels weird that they wouldn't help him physically with threats. But that is a good question. Absolutely, King of Queen. Let's see. More than likely, he'll have to lose, or Shadowlink says Spider-Man will probably have to lose his powers, like a lot of sequels. But he agrees maybe more Miles and maybe some Spider-Gwen action too. I don't know. We didn't have any Spider-Gwen introduced in the original, but it's very possible, especially with the success of Into the Spider-Verse. Shadowlink says include Venom and Carnage. I think that would be very cool. the whole symbiosis thing. This one ended with some kind of weird Green Goblin situation, I think, or maybe even some Venom stuff with Harry Osborn inside that incubation chamber. I'm not sure what's going on there. Is this a Green Goblin plus Venom scenario? I don't know. And Chatling says maybe since PP is out of the MCU, we can get that teamwork in the game instead. Yeah, I think so. Honestly, Insomniac, I trust based on that the last year's Spider-Man story. I trust them with whatever they want to do, and until they betray that trust, I'm happy to let them do it. So I think that's going to be it for Spider-Man. I'm gonna finish up talking about Spider-Man. So let me go in here real quick and try to figure out how I can. Here it is. Bits. I don't know what a good minimum bit is. 20 bits? The thing you're saying, do one as the minimum? Twitch seems to think it says they recommend setting this above 1 to combat spam in chat. What about 5? Would 5 be reasonable? I'm so new to this. I'm so new to bits. Let me know if 5 is reasonable for you. King of Queens says 2 to 3. Okay, well I can do 2 or 3, I suppose. I don't see why not. I'll set it to 3. How about that? I don't know if 3 is going to be quite enough to combat spam, but I don't see anybody spamming bits in my chat. Anyway, and I don't know if there's an audio component to that. But it is now set to 3 bits as a minimum. I wasn't trying to be like greedy with 50. I just didn't know what was reasonable and what wasn't, to be honest with you. But your desire to donate bits, is refreshing to me. Thank you very much. It's been a good day. So my last news of the evening, we're going to move on. So the last segment of our evening, or the last news segment, is going to be what to expect from tomorrow's Nintendo Direct. 10 bits! Wow, awesome. Thank you so much. So tell me, are you guys hearing the that bit thing happening? Do you hear a Thank you so much for the bits though, the King of Queen. You are the man. Did you guys hear a noise whenever the bit thing happened? Okay, can't hear but can see. So that's kind of what I want. I didn't want a big audio thing going on, but I do want it to be able to be seen. So that's great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Very, 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 very much. The King of Queen, you are a wonderful person. Thank you for your bits. That's 11 pennies, my man. I don't really see the need for mods right now. I've got a bot mod right now. I appreciate your enthusiasm truly, but whenever it comes time that I feel like I may need a mod, I will certainly be thinking of you, the King of Queen, and your eagerness. Hopefully that'll suffice for you for now. But I don't think it's completely necessary at this point in time. So, our next news segment is thus the Nintendo Direct. I want to talk about what to expect from tomorrow's upcoming Nintendo Direct. Obviously, we've got some anime babes to expect from tomorrow's Nintendo Direct. But I want to really focus on, I guess, I'm not really focusing on much. I'm kind of brief overview. So what do we know is coming? There's a ton of possibilities for what could come out of September's Nintendo Direct. This is also from Dexerto.com. This is by Bill Cooney. I don't know who this is. There's a ton of possibilities, but 2 games have been confirmed by Nintendo as certain inclusions. Pokemon Sword and Shield, along with Luigi's Mansion 3. Luigi's Mansion is the other game besides Pokemon that we know will be featured in the Direct. We already saw gameplay from the title, but that doesn't mean there's not more new content to show off. Another possibility for the September 4th Direct is Overwatch coming to Switch. So there's definitely some different things coming out. We have seen news that Amazon briefly had a Overwatch case for the Switch, which pretty much revealed that Overwatch is coming to the Switch. That's not like a big surprise. Switch is getting most everything that's super popular now that can be ported over. Overwatch is kind of losing a little bit of popularity. It might be an attempt to surge some more popularity. I don't know how people are going to play Overwatch on their Switch. I feel like that's going to be pretty difficult, but it's going to be available most likely based on the fact that this exists. Why would this exist if the game wasn't available on the Switch? They don't make Xbox One controllers with, the Last of Us logos on them. But Luigi's Mansion 3, I want to get a quick barometer on Luigi's Mansion 3. What do you guys think about Luigi's Mansion? Have you played any Luigi's Mansion before? I have not. I have never played any Luigi's Mansion, but this game is very much intriguing me. Something about the Switch now, of course, my habits with Astral Chain and some other roguelites I play on the Switch doesn't really betray the fact that I like kind of chill games on the Switch. But I do kind of like to relax when I'm playing the Switch. I don't necessarily care for excuse me, I need to turn that off. Excuse me. I don't necessarily care for, oh shoot, I hit the wrong button, folks. I reopened Premiere. I don't normally care for games like this elsewhere, but the Switch, it makes me want to play these kind of small little goofy games. Shadowlink says those games are very fun. I'm very excited for part 3. Okay, well, I'm glad we've got some excitement. I've heard good things about Luigi's Mansion. I've heard a lot of good things. This looks like a lot of fun. It looks like a cute little horror game that won't scare me, but will be, probably creepy enough. Probably a little bit of suspense going on with Luigi. But it just looks like a good time. And it's amazing to me that what the Switch is making me do. I was never much of a Nintendo boy after I got a PlayStation 2. I had a Nintendo 64. I played your Mario 64s, your Super Smash Bros, etc. Shadowlinks with 100 bits, dude. Thanks, man. You just took the lead. You just took the bit lead. We're having an arms race when it comes to bits. I've never even done a bit before. Thank you so much, Shadowlinks. You're the man. So Luigi's Mansion. We're cheering for Luigi's Mansion, obviously. It's worth 100 bits. It just looks like so much fun. I don't know what else to say. Like you're walking around grabbing ghosts. You're banging them against the wall. These games always look so cozy and jolly and cute. I guess are the best words for it. And the Switch is making me get into these kind of games. Like Mario Odyssey, I love the way that game looked. It was super easy. It was a relaxing game to play. It wasn't anything crazy. But you're not trying to take the lead, but I'm happy to do it. Yeah, dude, not a competition at all. I don't expect any, so I super appreciate the bits. And, of course, in the grand scheme of things, we all, I guess 100 bits is $1, right? So it's not like, you're going to break the bank doing such a thing, but it means a lot. It means a great deal to me that you would be willing to toss a bit my way. The first opportunity I'm able to throw bits at you, I will shower you with a similar number of bits. But the Switch is making me play games that I wouldn't normally play. I loved Odyssey. It was super easy. I'm not normally into games quite like that, but as Mario, got to play it. Loved it. I'm actually playing right now Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker. It wouldn't let you do less than 100? That's kind of funny. Um, hmm. It's set to 3 as a minimum. I promise. I swear. I swear. I ain't trying to steal your bits, sir. I swear it. I promise. Um, that was my uh, that was my Louisiana casino car dealer that you thought he was cheating, so you pointed your gun at him. I'm sorry, sir. I'm not trying to steal your. I'm not trying to steal your bits, sir. Anyway, the Switch is making me play games I don't normally play. I'm playing Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker, which is like a infant's game as far as difficulty is concerned, but it is just like it's good to look at. It's adorable. It looks good. It's crystal clear, and it's kind of fun little puzzles. It doesn't make your brain hurt too bad, and it's just a lot of fun. So I'm thinking Luigi's Mansion will be a bit more of a tuned up version of Treasure Tracker with ghosts, and I'm actually really excited to play it. I'm really excited that I'm really excited. Yeah, Treasure Trackers, it's fun, dude. We ought to play it. We actually ought to get together sometime and play a co-op. Um, but yeah, it's beautiful. The Switch is doing things to me that I never knew it would do to me. It's wonderful, and I'm so glad it is. But thanks to everybody hanging out in the stream. I appreciate you very, very, very much for hanging out in here. Whoever's in here, extra. I know we got Kevin, Shadow Links, and the King of Queen hanging out, throwing bits my way. The first night being able to receive bits, I already got some bits. It makes me so happy. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna cherish those bits. I'm gonna keep them in a sock in my underwear drawer. Every time I get a pair of underwear, every morning I'll pull out that sock and I'll say, "Look at all those bits they gave me." I'll never spend them. But that's all we got. So tomorrow they're gonna be talking about Pokemon. They're gonna be talking about Luigi's Mansion. They're going to be talking about whoever this lady is. I don't know who she is. But, that'll draw some people in, I'm sure. She's got quite a figure to her. Pokemon, of course, Sword and Shield. I don't know where you guys are feeling, what you're feeling about Pokemon coming up. I am kind of the opinion that I wish they would have done more so far. Like the first big, legit, mainline Pokemon console game, I wish they'd have a little more to show for it. It does look a little bit, I don't want to say lazy because I don't know what it takes to make these games. I don't want to say it looks a little bit lazy, but like there's a shot of a tree in this game that looks real low resolution. It looks real dinky, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a Pokemon game. It's going to give the sensation that Pokemon games have given in the past. It will do that. But I don't know if it's enough to really push the franchise forward. It kind of feels a little bit like they did just enough to put one on console, if that makes sense. To me, it doesn't look good enough, visually, and it maybe is not even quite big enough of a jump to be an exceptional Pokemon game. The King of Queen says bye. King of Queen, thank you so much for hanging out, man. I have enjoyed it. Thanks for being around. Thanks for those bits, and thank you for following, and thank you for hosting and everything else. You have been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person this evening, and I thank you. And with that, with my quick little Pokemon rant, I would like to say I am finished with the news this evening. That'll be that. I haven't found any more exceptional news things. Tomorrow, of course, we will have the Nintendo Direct. Are you telling me congrats, Shadow Links? Are you telling the King of Queen? Because I did not know if I would happily congratulate him if he needs congratulations. So we have the direct. Who knows what's going to come out of that? And then we have, of course, the Spider-Man thing, where the Game of the Year thing's available, as well as we talked about Ninja and his sponsorships and what kind of fake sponsorships we would want to have. But that's the news for this evening. So the question is that I could either talk about Astral Chain or I could stream some of it. Okay. All right. So Shadowlinks, does that mean you are heading out as well? I was about to ask the question if anybody's interested. Since it's just me tonight, I don't think I'm going to just discuss the fact that I've been playing Astral Chain. You can watch me play several hours of it on the archive on the YouTube. I'm thinking about streaming it right now. I'm probably going to cross on over and begin streaming Astral Chain. After this, I'll shut this show down, and then I'll move over to Astral Chain and stream that for a little while tonight before going to bed. And I won't wake up tomorrow morning and stream it then. Next week, when Will is back, we'll have a long discussion where hopefully he'll ask questions about Astral Chain, and I'll be able to fill him in and explain it and tell him why it's a game that's worthy of the purchase. But I guess Shadowlinks or Kevin or anybody else, if you guys want to let me know if you're interested in hanging out for a Astral Chain stream, let me know. If not, maybe I could wake up and do it tomorrow morning. But a little feedback would help me out for the moment. But as I wait for that has been Game Talks Live for this September 3rd. Crazy that it's September already. But this has been Game Talks Live for September 3rd. We'll be back next week. Hopefully there'll be some more news. We'll, of course, have some Nintendo news to talk about. We will have some... what else will we have? We will have some new games, hopefully, to discuss. Not new, maybe some newly announced ones, or maybe Will and I have been playing something differently on our own time to discuss. But it will be a full-fledged show next week, not a half one. So thank you for hanging out. Thank you all for chilling with me for a little while. Let's see how many people are streaming Astral Chain. Is it worth booting up? Oh boy. There's a lot of people streaming Astral Chain tonight. A lot of people streaming Astral Chain tonight, boys and girls. But that's quite alright. Doesn't mean I can't do it too. I feel that, well, I am going to stream Astral Chain for a little while, I think, just to get a little bit of game in so I can sleep a little bit later tomorrow. But with that being said, I'm going to end this stream. I'm going to send us to our little card to shut us down. Shadowlinks, if you want to tune in to Astral Stream, or Astral Chain, that'd be great. Or if you got other things that you're going to get up to, of course, that is your prerogative, my man. You have spent a lot of time with me today, and I appreciate that. As well as the rest of you, thank you so much for hanging out. You have been a wonderful boon to my existence, a balm to my soul today. Thanks for watching Game Talks Live. We will be back with more Game Talks Live next week. In the meantime, please remember that I love you very much, and also remember that I will be streaming Astral Chain in about 10 minutes or less. So, I will see you all next time. Remember, I love you very much.